I took a win today, so let's get into it. We had 8:30 news. Like I said yesterday, love 8:30 news days. Um, the framework. Looking at NQ, is today a low probability day? No, but charts didn't really look super clean. To my liking. Like yesterday, the draw was clear, the charts were clean. I knew what we wanted to do. I was pretty confident. I'm not gonna say I knew what we wanted to do. I was pretty confident in what we wanted to do. I had a floating bias going into today, but I was leaning a bit more bullish, and I'll show you guys why. With my draw liquidity being previous day high and the data highs, um, I was looking at the 30-minute fair value gap on NQ. I wrote this at 9:06, and I said I wanted to start off by saying I'm playing defense today, so I was really like waiting for the market to show me what it wanted to do today, because the charts didn't look super clean. But these are my scenarios here. So we have this 30-minute fair value gap here that we were respecting, um, so far at least. And data highs hadn't been taken yesterday, and we know data highs are a magnet. So, and we had SMT at London lows. So for me, scenario one was that we were bullish and we travel up to these data highs, right? Um, and then we have scenario two, which ended up happening. So the higher time frame is just bearish, like we've just been selling off. So there was the possibility of this happening here. We come up SMT that high, then fill this fair value gap, then travel down to these relative equal lows here. Um, like I said, there's variations of this. So we could have traveled here, SMT this, and then came lower, to I probably would have had my PT here, or like, yeah, probably PT here. But besides the point. So those were my two scenarios, the things I was looking for going into the day. So now let's walk through price action. Um, man, I try not to make my charts look so messy, but sometimes I have to talk to myself while I trade, so I just write it down on the screen as annotations. Apologies if they're messy. Um, but this here is the 4-hour fair value gap, and then this here is the 30-minute fair value gap that I was talking about. So prices coming in the market open, prices at that 30-minute fair value gap, right? And we have SMT at the highs, which is the data high, actually. That's funny. We have SMT at the data highs, but as you guys know, I was bullish. I was leaning more bullish. So what I wanted to see was price run this low here and then give us the internal model to displace above this high and then go, to these highs, right? I wasn't going to take a trade until we displaced above these highs, right? So we get this S&T at the high, and then we're really showing resistance of going to the upside, right? Then we put in this internal S&T at, in between 935 and 940, right? And we don't respect this low, right? Like we take it, but we don't get a change in the state, and then we put in the internal S&T. Also, we had a 15-minute fair value gap here. Yeah, right here. And we swept the high of that. So I was also aware of that coming into the day. And that led me to be more bearish, because that's the model itself. I think the fair value gap would be here. Sweep on liquidity, change in the state, which occurred here, stop loss above the high. But that's pre-market, so I didn't touch it. But once we failed to get a change in the state of delivery off this low, and then we put in this internal S&T, I was pretty convinced that, because we can already see NQ as the weaker pair, I'm pretty convinced that we go lower. So once we get this change in the state here, this candle, let me get rid of this. This candle is pretty aggressive for my liking, so I wait for a retest of this change in the state, or I was looking to see this 3-minute fair value gap here, this tiny fair value gap, get tapped into, which we do, and that's why I had it on my chart there. But I entered off this change in the state here. We come down, we sweep out this high at the start of the macro, and so that's just a liquidity sweep inside the 3-minute fair value gap, which is perfect. And so I mark out this candle as the start of the macro. Once we close below this low, I I know that this should be the soup, so I moved my stops. My stops were originally my stop was originally here, around here, and then once we souped that, I was able to move my stop here. Um, my target was this low here. Like I said, these relative equal lows. So not a big ass trade. Let's just say I on this candle, but that's a lot of points. So it's good for me. It was about 2R. Uh, I wrote here I would love to see TP hit at 10 or before 10. Why did I say 100? The reason why is because I know that 10 o'clock has a power of 3. And as you can see, 10 a.m. opens, travels up, and then we get we come down back lower, right? It's something that's been happening recently where like we reverse damn near to a point where you can't even hold the trade anymore for logical reasons, and then we reverse back to the downside. So like I said, I wanted to see this hit before 10, um, and we're in the macro already, and my TP was so close. I actually something I need to work on. I took one off around here because I saw how much was up, like a lot, not money wise, because I have it as ticks on my screen. I saw it was up a lot of ticks, and like, damn, I don't want price to come back up here and let me secure something. That's the wrong way of thinking. Gotta trust the model. I have to journal that and be more aware of that. But price comes down, flushes 2 TP. It's a great trade. It looks the same as my trade from Tuesday. It looks the same as my trade from yesterday. And now this is the same trade. And that's the thing I'm most proud of. All my trades looking similar. It's not the exact same, but they look very similar. Liquidity sweep. This is the sweep here. It's SMT, so this is the liquidity grab or the manipulation. We have more internal manipulation. We fail to deliver. This is an important thing too. I don't see many traders talking about validation versus invalidation. We failed to deliver inside of this fair value gap here. This was a higher time frame gap. I'm just on the 1 minute right now, but this is a higher time frame fair value gap, and it's 30 minute. So now this 30 minute becomes the IFEG. We get a change in the state. You could have took an entry here. The way that this has been delivering, this model's been delivering. If we get an aggressive move down, I like to wait for a retest because mentally, it's just more freeing mentally to wait for a retest because you're worried about price moving against you. That's something I have to work on too. But we sweep out liquidity inside of a fair value gap, and then we move lower. That's really the model. So I'm proud of myself for my trades looking eerily similar to themselves. And I erased a big amount of loss with this trade. I erased a big amount of loss, so I'm pretty happy about that. Even though I'm not focused on the money, I know if I just continue to trust the model and continue to use this model, I will make money. So it's not really a thing about money anymore. I just want to execute properly, which is why I was talking about this. But that's the trade from today. Thank you guys.